by adult female. In adult worm can live in our intestine around 2 years. So once you have the many worms in the gut, symptoms are related to the worm burden. 10 to 20 worms may go unnoticed except in routine stool examination. The commonest complaint is vague abdominal pain. In most severe case, patients may experience weight loss, anorexia, distended abdomen, intermittent loose stool, and occasional vomiting. And remember, last time I showed you a video on YouTube showing how these parasites, Ascaris lumbricoides, can cause obstruction, intestinal obstruction. That's due to heavy infection that obstructed the intestine, and you will need a surgical procedure to remove the parasite. During the pulmonary stage, there may be a brief period of cough, wheezing, and dyspnea. Most symptoms are due to the physical presence of the worm in the respiratory tract. We diagnose this by finding eggs in stool. So you request stool examination, then you on microscope you will observe this kind of egg. This is fertilized egg of Ascaris lumbricoides with this yellow color on morphology. Treatment is simple, just mebendazole, 200 mg for adults and 100 mg for children for 3 days. However, due to the heavy infection that occur in the population, as well as many eggs laid by the parasites, you can't say that I have been sick and I get treatment and I'm well. You can get subsequent infection. That's why good hygiene is the best preventive measure to control and to eliminate these parasites. And this parasite is very, very common in children, because children are the one who play in the ground, who eat dance, without cleaning hands, and so on. And remember, this is the fecal-oral transmitted parasite or poor hygiene. So this is unfertilized egg, this is fertilized egg. This is embryonated egg containing a larva, which will be effective if just inside you can easily see the larva. This is the larva hatching from an egg. This is the adult worms, female. This is the female, this is the male, and they can measure up to 40 centimeters. So apart from Ascaris lumbricoides, let's talk about the Tiricinerosis spiralis. Tiricinerosis spiralis sometimes is called an accidental parasite or a dog parasite, and sometimes tissue parasite, not intestinal, but it involves both. We are seeing the life cycle. So Tiricinerosis spiralis is a parasite that causes trichinosis. So trichinosis is related to the quality of cook and the consumption of poorly cooked meat. Autopsy survey indicate about 2% of the population is infected by this. It means that 2% of the whole population. It means that is prevalent. The mortality rate is not high. Adult female can measure 3 mm to 60 micrometer, is not large, and the larva in the tissue can measure 100 micrometer. They are coiled in a lemon-shaped capsule. We will see the morphology of lemon-shaped capsule. Then how is the Tiricinerosis occurs, and how is Tiricinerosis spiralis life cycle is? In fact, infection occurs by ingestion of larvae in poorly cooked meat, which immediately invade intestinal mucosa and sexually differentiate within 18 to 24 hours. Very, very fast. It means that after consumption, in 1 day, there is sexual differentiation. The female, after fertilization, burrows deeply in the small intestinal mucosa, whereas the male is dislodged intestinal stage. On about 5th day, eggs begin to hatch in the female womb, and the young larvae are deposited in the mucosa from where they reach the lymphatic, lymph node, and blood stream. This is called larva migration, and this causes larva migrants. So it means that only it takes 5 days. 5 days, the larva within the womb of the female womb, the larva hatch and release. The egg hatch within the adult womb and larva comes out. Larva dispersion occurs 4 to 16 weeks after infection, and the larvae are deposited in the muscle fibers, and in striated muscle they form capsule which calcify to form the cyst. In non-striated tissue such as in the heart, in the brain, the larvae do not calcify, they die and disintegrate due to immune system. And the cyst may persist for several years. One female womb can produce approximately 1,500 larvae. And the man is the called terminal host, because a man cannot transmit this Tiricinerosis spiralis. The reservoir include most of carnivores and omnivores. And this is the life cycle, where it is started by ingestion of undercooked meat, especially the pork. And the meat muscle. That's how many people do not consume. Many people decided to not consume the pork meat.
Yes.
Although the decision is not to not consume, but to cook it well. Most of the time we suggest to boil it. You boil it, make sure that all the parasites or other microbes are destroyed. Then after boiling it, you can fry it to make akabenz. But we do not advise to eat akabenz which is not boiled, because boiling is the one which can kill all of those microorganisms. Otherwise, just fry. Eating a flying or roasted meat, really the parasites are still live. It's not effective. It's not. You can fly. The outer part of the meat is well fried, but the inside, the cysts are still live because they are protected with some shell and so on. So when you consume undercooked meat of pork, you will get infected. Then here, in the intestine, the larva will be released in small intestine, will be released from the other worm. And the other worm will be stay in small intestine, and they will release the larva which will circulate to different tissue in the body and different organs, including heart, liver, brain, and so on. In the body, they form cysts. So they are called encysted larvae in striated muscles. So they remain there, and they can be calcified, either calcified or die. But they can't progress to any further stage. That's why Tiricinerosis spiralis is called, a human being is called a terminal host. Terminal host because the human being cannot infect other human being or other person, because no one consumes the human meat unless the carnivores consume the human, they can be infected. But this is not common. Human being is not consumed by any person or any animal. So that's why human is a terminal host. But accidentally, if it happens and the human has those cysts, can transmit to those carnivores. So the life cycle occurs within the rodent, and the rodent which can transmit the infection. So how does this occur? If this pig ingests the meat that contains this cyst, for instance, the rodent is consumed by the pig will be infected automatically, and the life cycle will go on in the same way from stage 2, where the larva will be hatched from the female, and the cyst will be formed in the muscle, and the cyst will keep the infection if the muscle of the rodent is consumed by the pork. So Tiricinerosis is acquired by ingestion of meat containing cyst, and cyst the larva of Tiricinerosis spiralis. After exposure to the gastric acid and pepsin, those are the enzymes, either gastric juice, chlorhydric acid, or pepsin enzyme that facilitate digestion, larva are released from the cyst that was contained in the muscle, and the larva will invade small intestine, where they develop into adult worms. Then lifespan will take in the small 4 weeks. After a week, the females will release the larva that migrate to the striated muscle, where they not assist, they remain there. Assessment is completed in 5 weeks, and the assisted larva may remain viable for several years. Ingestion of assisted larva perpetuate the cycle. Like rat and rodent, they are primarily responsible for maintaining an endemicity of infection. The carnivores or omnivores animals such as bear feed on infected rodent or meats from other animals will acquire infection through the consumption of those striated muscles that contain the cyst. Different animals hosts are implicated in the life cycle of the different species of Tiricinerosis. Humans are accidentally infected when eating improperly processed meat of those carnivorous animals, or eating food contaminated with such meat. In the human being, this is how it looks like. This is the cyst in the striated muscle containing this lemon coiled. When you look this, it's like a lemon, but in the lemon there is a coiled larva. So assist the larva of Tiricinerosis in a pressed muscle tissue. The coiled larva can be seen inside the cyst. In fact, this is how the larva is coiled, like this. Larva of Tiricinerosis. The symptom of Tiricinerosis or Tiricinerosis
You are muted.
Thank you. So The larger bolus of infection produces symptoms according to the severity and the stage of infection and organ involved. What about the pathology and immunology? Trichinella or Tiricinerosis. The pathogenesis or the infection or the disease is due to the presence of large number of larvae in vital muscles and host reaction to the larva metabolites. It means that the immune response will respond to those parasites. Then the muscle fibers become enlarged, edematous and deformed due to immune reaction. The paralyzed muscle are infiltrated with neutrophils, eosinophil, lymphocyte, and other immune cells. There will be a splenomegaly, which depend on the degree of infection. The home that can induce a strong immunoglobulin E response, which is associated with eosinophils, contribute to the parasite death. Even if the parasite dies, there will be inflammation, and this inflammation will contribute to the clinical presentation or symptoms of the patient. Diagnosis only can be based on symptoms, history, and also the lab examination, including increased number of eosinophils, including increased serum creatinine, phosphokinase, and lactate dehydrogenase, and some antibodies to Tiricinerosis spiralis. It's very difficult to visualize the parasites on microscope because unless it's a biopsy taken from the tissue, because the parasites they are assisted in the tissue, so we can see them in the tissue, but otherwise it's difficult. Steroids are used for treatment to reduce the inflammation, and mebendazole also can be used to eliminate the worm. Elimination of parasite infection in the home and adequate cooking of meat are the best way to avoid this infection of Tiricinerosis spiralis. So, in intestinal mucosa, you can have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, headache. When the larvae are circulating in the muscles, you can have edema, periorbital conjunctivitis, photophobia, fever, chills, sweating, muscle pain, and spasm, including increased eosinophils. But when they are in the myocardial muscles, you can still have chest pain. Sorry? Yes.
What's the meaning of edema?
Edema?
Yeah.
It's like enlargement of the area. When the parasite come and go to a certain area, there will be an inflammation. And if you remember, if you did physiology of the inflammation, there will be recruitment of different cells, but also the fluid, the blood circulation will migrate to the site. So there will be arrangement of that area. So that arrangement increase the size, that's what we call edema. And when it comes like this, due to the blood circulation to the site, it will tend to be red. Due to the blood flow at the site, it increases the size. There is a redness, there is pain, and there is a heat. That's edema, which is caused by inflammation. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see that the parasite can involve either intestinal mucosa, it can involve the circulation in different body parts, it can affect myocardium, it can even go to the brain and the meninges. And here the clinical presentation are different depending on the location of the parasites. Are we together? Yes. A question? Can I ask you a question? Okay, let me continue. So, we are done with Tiricinerosis spilaris. Tiricinerosis spilaris is different from other nematodes, intestinal nematodes, because apart from colonization of intestinal mucosa, also they migrate to the tissue and form cysts. Now let's continue with other parasites, which is Tiricinerosis trishula, also known as whipworm or trichocephal, either trichocephal, Tiricinerosis trishula, or whipworm. Those are the scientific name of the parasites. The Tiricinerosis trishula or trichus, some use it to read as trichus trishula, trichus tricula, or Tiricinerosis trishula, or trichocephal, or whipworm. Because of the morphology of the parasite, is a whip-like, is a tropical disease of the children 5 to 15 years. It's concentrated in families and groups with poor sanitation. The female organism is about 50 millimeter with a cylinder interior. The male is smaller and has a coiled posterior end. Trichus eggs are lemon or football shaped and have terminal plugs at both ends. We'll see how they look like. This one, the terminal plugs at the end. This one. They are very, very specific and they are very fluorescent. You see it on microscope, you can't confuse it with anything else. They are very fluorescent. They are very, very clear on microscope. So life cycle, infection occurs by ingestion. Also, this is a very, very simple and very common, and it's a direct life cycle. So how do we get this trichocephal? It's through the fecal-oral transmission. So, in the stool, there are unembryonated eggs that pass through feces, and a few days they become embryonated, containing 2 cells. Advanced stage, then there is a larva. These embryonated eggs are ingested, and when they are ingested, they go to the intestine through the stomach. The larva will be released, and there will be adult. Here, they are found here, the adult. Here, the adult, male and female, they couple and female lay eggs. The eggs will pass through the stool and the life cycle will continue like this. That's how the life cycle continues. So also it's a direct life cycle. Nothing special to this. Yes, please.
Why isn't the larva destroyed by the acid in the stomach?
Why the
larva destroyed by the acid in the stomach?
This is not a larva, this is an egg. This is an egg. The egg is, the larva is within the egg and is protected by this shell. So in the stomach, instead of killing the larva, the stomach will have effect on this shell of egg. Then from the action of this gastric juice, the shell will become like soft. That will make easier of the larva to hatch egg. So during passage, the egg will leave the stomach while the shell is dissolved by gastric acid. Then in intestine, the larva will exactly hatch. Unfortunately, if hatching occurs within the stomach, the larva can be destroyed by gastric juice. But the acid contributes to elimination or dissolving the shell. That will contribute to the coming out of the larva from the egg. But this occurs when the egg have left the stomach. You know that stomach is not where, when we consume things, they transit in the stomach. They don't stay there. It's like a transition. So during that transition, eggs, shells of egg are being dissolved. Then afterward, intestine, the egg will hatch and release larva. Okay?
Yes.
So that's the life cycle. Symptoms are determined largely by worms burden. So when you have many, symptoms will be very serious. But less than 10 worms, there will be asymptomatic. Severe infection, you can have massive infantile trichiasis and are characterized by chronic perfuse mucus and blood diarrhea with abdominal pain and edematous prolapse rectum. The rectum seems to come out. The infection may result in malnutrition, weight loss and anemia, and sometimes can progress to death. However, it's difficult for clinicians to differentiate the parasites by clinical, because all intestinal parasite patients can have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain. Those are the most common of the intestinal nematode symptoms. So what you have to do is to order the stool examination in the laboratory where they can find those eggs in the stool sample. Treatment also is the same, maybe 100 milligram and 100 per child. Normally we give these 3 times a day. It means that it's like 600, and accompanying infection must be treated accordingly. Improved hygiene and sanitary habits are the most effective to control these parasites. So on microscopy, this is how the tricula looks like with those flags at the edge. And they are very refractory subjects or fluorescent subject on microscopy. You can easily see them. Even if you are not expert in looking on microscopy, you can see them. Those are the adult of tricula. and most of these they don't come out in the stool. You can't find them, and they are called whipworm because of this morphology. At the head you can see they are big, but at the terminal part or the tail they are whip-like. Whip, umunyafu. Whip is umunyafu. So it's like a whip. That's why they are called whipworms. Whipworm. Whipworm or Trichilis tricura. So this is how they look like on different view on microscopy. Let's move on to the other one called the Antelopius vermicularis. Antelopius vermicularis also is known as pinworm. Differently to this whipworm, whipworm you can see that it's a whip at the terminal part of the other worm. But for this pinworm, the anterior part or the head, that is like a pinworm. The head is very pin. That's the difference from the Tiricinerosis tricura. So Antelopius vermicularis pinworm, also we call it auxil or Antelopius vermicularis or pinworm. It's also a children parasite. It's very rare to find this pinworm in adult. The worldwide infection is about 210 million. It's an urban disease of children in the crowded environment, school, daycare centers, nursery, and so on. Others may get it from their children. The incidence in white is much higher than blacks, and incidence is much higher in children than in adults. So, a life cycle. Infection occurs when embryonated eggs are ingested from environment. It means that we consume the embryonated egg. Embryonated larvae hatch in the duodenum and reach adolescence in jejunum and ileum. Other worms descend into lower ileum, cecum, and colon and live there for 8 weeks. The gravid female containing more than 10,000 eggs will migrate at the night to the perianal region and deposit eggs there. And the egg mature in oxygenated, moist environment and are infectious in 4 hours later after elimination. So man-to-man, also known as auto-infection, are very common. This is how it is. Also is a direct life cycle where the eggs eliminated in feces. After 4 hours they are embryonated and infective. Then when you consume them, they will come in duodenum. Duodenum. You know, duodenum is almost here. After you leave the stomach, this part, duodenum, this is where the egg will hatch. And when it hatches, it will release the larva. The larva will continue and will come, and others will live at this area. Okay? Then, when they will live at this area, during the night, the female will migrate to the rectum here to lay eggs. Eggs are not laid inside here in the either in the large intestine or small intestine. The adult will come and migrate to the rectum where there is oxygen and ventilation, and also there is moisture, humidity. Then eggs will be laid here on the orbital area of the anus. At this site, 10,000 eggs will be laid, and the egg at this site will will cause some irritation due to inflammation. To scratch in the anus. When they are scratching in the anus, they can take those eggs in the nails of the hand. Then once you have them, you are scratching the anus, then unfortunately you contaminate your hand and the nails. If you the cycle will continue again. That's what we call auto-infection or auto-infestation. You infect yourself, and this is very common, and it will cause what we call auto-infestation, and even you will not get cured because the infection will continue recycling. You infect yourself. Another thing, when we want to diagnose this disease, Enterobius vermicularis, because we know that the parasite come to lay eggs in the night, what you do, you just take a paper, cellophane adhesive paper, you stick on the anus of the child when he's going to sleep at the evening. Then in the morning you will remove the paper on the anus, you stick on a slide and put on microscope. You will easily, the cellophane paper, the adhesive paper will collect all the eggs, because the parasite will come and lay eggs on that adhesive paper that you have sticked on the anus of the child. We call it cellophane adhesive paper. The symptoms, Enterobius is relatively innocuous and rarely produce serious lesions. The most symptom common is the perianal or perineal and vaginal irritation or itching caused by the female migration to the perineal or perianal regions. The itching results in insomnia and restlessness. In some cases, gastrointestinal symptoms such as pain, nausea, vomiting may develop. Diagnosis is made by finding the adult worm or eggs in the perineal area, particularly at the night, or scotch tape, also known as adhesive tape, or a pinworm paddle, which is used to obtain eggs, which you stick on the anus of the child, and you remove it tomorrow and you take it to the lab for diagnosis. You just give 2 doses, 10 milligram per kilogram, maximum 1 gram each of the Pilentar palmate. 2 weeks apart give a very high curate rate. Mebendazole also can be used as an alternative. The whole family should be treated to avoid the reinfection, because the one who is sick will scratch the anus and will bring the parasite in the nail or finger and will touch things in the house and will contaminate others. So if this parasite is found in one person, the whole family should be treated. Bedding and underclothing must be sanitized between the 2 treatment doses, because in the bed or in the underwear or in the bed sheet and so on, we can find those parasites, because the eggs have been laid in the anus, and you have touched also the anus when you are feeling irritation, so you can easily contaminate those things, then you reinfect or infect the others. That's why if you are having treatment, you have to boil, to sterilize those bed sheets, underwear and so on. Personal cleanliness provides most effective in prevention. This is the other worm. This is the egg. Egg in fact have a shape of the coffee. You can easily see it on microscope. That's it about pinworm, also known as Antelobius vermicularis. So we have seen Ascaris lumbricoides, we have seen Tiricinerosis, which is an accidental parasite of human, whereby human is the terminal host, where there is encystment of the parasite in the striated muscles and the calcification of the parasite in the other non-striated muscles. We have seen also whipworm, also known as trichocephale, which have two polars, flagellant end of the egg, trichocephale or whipworm, and even this Tiricinerosis tricula and Antelobius vermicularis. All of them, they have direct life cycle. They involve gastrointestinal tract, and the treatment is mebendazole. And also the prevention is personal hygiene and sanitation and so on. So let's now go to the other parasite unless there is comment or a question. Strongyloides stericularis, which is different from the other one. Any question?
No.
Okay.
So I have a question. We need to ask for the slide.
Ask you a question.
Not sure we need these slides.
You need what?
These slides, we need you to be on these notes.
Huh? I don't get you. You need the PPT.
Yeah, this portion is the view.
Let's send it through the emails that I used to share the links. So, I have sent them. Okay?
So another question. About this pinworm. Why do the female worms wait until at night?
Sorry?
Why do the pinworms wait until at night to go lay their eggs? Wait until
why
at
they
night to go.
wait?
Yes, at night.
So, that's their habit, but we can guess the reason why. Because at the night, human is stable. Human is stable, no movement. So the parasite can move easily without any disturbance. But when you are in action, when you are moving, when you are in some activities, even you know that intestine are having different movement. So for the parasite, it's difficult to move and migrate to the site where it wants. And we have seen that it's stimulated by oxygen. Normally in the intestine, they are gas, but the gas which is not in intestine, it's not oxygen. They are CO2. So their parasite is stimulated by oxygen. That's why it's to the anus, whereby seems to like ni nko kujya guhengereza ahantu, nuko wajya ahantu mu nzu ukajya kurunguruka mu idirishya ngo wumva kuka ko haho. So the parasite itself migrate targeting the oxygen area because it facilitates their egg to mature and to become infective. So the rest of the when you are in the rest position or when you are resting, and also the oxygen stimulation, there are things that facilitate the parasite to move, especially in the night. Otherwise, that's the habit of the parasite. Because when we will be studying tissue nematode, we will see that there are even the parasites that migrate in the blood only during the night. During the day, you can't find them. If you take a blood sample, during the day, the sample will be negative. But if you take them in the night, you will find many parasites. So it's part of their habit. Okay? Yeah, now let's talk about Strongyloides stericolaris or Strongyloides staphylococcus. This is a parasite which do not infect like the other one. If you call oral transmission, we will see them. Strongyloides stericolaris infection is about 100 million cases worldwide. And infection of the tropical and subtropical with poor sanitation as well. Size and the shape of the parasite vary depending on whether it is parasitic or free living. It means that this parasite can live outside the environment or can infect a person. So it depends on this size. And the egg, when lay are 55 micrometers, the life cycle of the parasite, infective larva of Strongyloides staphylococcus is the larva. You can get the difference. This larva, we do not get infected by egg. We don't consume egg. It's not a fecal oral transmission. This is a transcutaneous infection, whereby larva of Strongyloides staphylococcus penetrate the skin of a man, enter venous circulation and pass through the right heart to the lung, where they penetrate into the alveoli. From there, adolescent parasites ascend to the glottis, then they are swallowed and reach the upper part of the small intestine. The larva resist to gastric juice in the stomach.
Question, lecture.
And yes.
Can you share your screen, please? We are not seeing your screen.
Really?
Yes.
But I have shared the screen. Let's do it again.
Must have problem of connection because we are seeing it.
Let's share it again and see. So they can see it. The screen is shared again.
Yes, now it's okay.
Now it's okay.
Yes, thank you.
So, I was saying that Strongyloides stericolaris, we don't get infected by consumption of eggs. The parasite just penetrates the skin. Let's show you. This is the life cycle. That's how this life cycle is a bit complicated or complex compared to the other one we have seen for Ascaris lambricoides and so on. So how does this start? We have what we call rhabditoid larvae in the intestine that are excreted in the stool. You have to know what we call DCD. D means diagnostic stage, while this I is an infective stage. I on this triangle, blue triangle which contains white eye, this is infective stage, while D within this blue triangle means diagnostic stage. So rhabditoid larva is a diagnostic stage, but it's not infective stage. To become infective, this rhabditoid larva infective will need to be developed into filariform larva, which is able to penetrate the skin and initiate infection. Rhabditoid has not the power to penetrate the skin, cannot perforate. But when few days after elimination, it can mature in filariform larva and will penetrate the skin. So when the feces of a human being containing this rhabditoid larva, the feces will come with the larva and will be eliminated in environment. So in environment there is two possibilities. Okay? Either this larva, rhabditoid larva, will develop into mature larva, adult worm. The adult worm will lay eggs in the environment, in the soil. The eggs will hatch and release rhabditoid form. This rhabditoid form also are not able to perforate the skin. They will need to be converted, or they will need to undergo some further development to become filariform larva, so that they can perforate the skin. But if they don't find a human being to perforate, they will remain in the soil and also will bring another generation. They grow into adult, lay egg, and the cycle will continue in the environment. That's how these parasites live in environment and multiply, lay egg hatch, give larva, adult, lay egg in environment. Let alone if they get opportunity to meet a human being who don't have shoes, who don't wear shoes. That's why we encourage people to wear shoes regularly, even when you go to the farm and so on. So the larva will penetrate the skin, this filariform larva, and when it penetrates the skin, will go to the vein, will go to the heart, and will come up to the bronchitis, and will fall down in the stomach. The larva is resistant. Imagine the larva that survives in the soil. Survive to different desiccation, the sun, and so on. This larva is so strong, that's why it resists to gastric juice, and it will go to intestine where it will mature, and the mature larva again will lay egg, and egg will hatch and release this larva again. Then the diagnostic stage is the larva. It means that in stool we look for larva, not eggs, because eggs that are laid in intestinal mucosa hatch and release the larva. So the larva is the one which we will find in stool sample. We can't find eggs of this Strongyloides terricolaris. So it has either free living cycle or in parasitic stage. That's the explanation of the figure. The symptom also depends on the severity of infection, whereby light infection are asymptomatic. Skin penetration can cause itching and redness at the site of infection. During migration, organisms cause bronchial venous pneumonia. In the duodenum, they cause burning. You can also have nausea and vomiting and diarrhea, even sometimes constipation. That alternate with diarrhea. Every infection, you can have chronic infection that result in anemia, weight loss, chronic bloody dysentery. Secondary bacterial infection can damage mucosa and produce serious complications. Diagnosis is about finding the labdiform or labditoid larva in the feces. Culture of the stool also can result in the production of filariform larva. This is how it looks like. It can show you so treatment is ivermectin or thiabendazole that can be used. Ivermectin is the treatment for the tissue nematode. We see them. It's very simple. I can show you the Strongyloides terricolaris. In a stool sample.
Wow. Wabonye abantu Sofina akunda cyane.
Oya, nuko abandi barindira abandi. Kumwabye ku murongo.
Oya, tugiye YouTube imana reka tube twiriwe.
Yabaye break.
Ari kwigisha ariko
bijyanye.
Turashaka kuba turi YouTube imana. Oh, sorry. Zana nguhe mani ifatiro ubwo se n'abana. For sure. Microscope. Ni wazi. Tugiye kuba twibereye tukubona.
Ni kubereka.
Hysterically.
So if you manage to look here this video, you can easily see the parasite, how it looks like on microscope. It has a very fast movement. And if you are trying to diagnose it, you have to look it very fast. Do you see them?
Whoa.
Do you see? Yeah, this is a stool sample. You take a very small piece of stool sample. You put on microscopy. This is a microscopic field, and this is how the larva is seen. So you guys, the doctors, will not maybe be analyzing stool sample, but at least if you have a patient whom you suspect infection, you just request stool exam. So this is what the lab technician will see. We will see the larva in the stool. So which larva is this?
Yes.
Is it labdiform or is it the filariform?
Yes, it's filariform. As a Tiricinerosis. Filariform, iba ari ndende ku buryo nyine ubona isonga
Which larva is this one?
Rhabdid form yo iba ari ntoya.
ni ubwoko ariko bwose brazil strange
Why is filariform?
ariko zikaba ari fomu y'indwara y'izi ngizi.
I think it's because it's the one which is infecting.
No, you say the form, the stage, and you tell me why.
iyo kakiri gatoya
bavuze ko banayikaricaringa
kuri noza
hari n'igihe bayikaricaringa nayo ikaboneka.
When the eggs are
ariyo
laid,
bashaka
nyine ni ibaba ariko hari n'igihe bakaricaringa
larva not laid.
We have said that there is a diagnostic stage and also we have effective stage. Okay? Diagnostic stage is rhabdiform larva, while effective stage is filariform larva. So this is diagnostic stage. This is a stool sample, and we can diagnose the infection by seeing these parasites. So this is a rhabdiform or rhabditoid larva, which is the diagnostic stage. It's not a filariform larva. Okay?
Question, Rector.
Yes.
But there is a stride the way you said we can also we can culture stool so that we can obtain filariform larva.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how we can differentiate this stuff?
This because it's like when this parasite is a rhabdid form, it just takes several time to develop into filariform.
Yes.
So, and this is not, it's resistant in environment. It can survive to different condition in environment. So if you put it in a good medium and you keep it there, it will mature and become filariform larva. And if we keep it, it can even mature to the adult form. Ni nko kuyorora muri make, reka tuvuge gusa ni nko korora parasites. That's how it can progress. But for diagnostic purposes, we don't need to culture the parasite, and if it was a rhabdid form, we culture and wait for filariform, not necessary. It's even risky because if I touch stool that contain this rhabdid form, I will not get infected. But if I touch the medium containing filariform larva, the larva will penetrate in my skin directly,
Yes.
and you can't even know because they are, even if you see, they seem to be big. They are very small. You can't see them on your eyes unless you have a microscope. Otherwise, you can't see them. So if you touch a solution, a medium, a liquid that containing this parasite, parasite will automatically perforate the skin and get into your body and you get infected. Si ibyo suko. Okay?
Yes. And the other thing.
So let's go on other parasites. We call it Necator americanus or Ancylostoma duodenale. There are two parasites, but all of them are called hookworm. What is a hook? What is a hook? Who knows the meaning of a hook?
Iri muri infective stage.
itari kuze n'iyo
idakuze
ngiye kuri diagnostic
aya ntabwo bavuga ngo idakuze
kuri diagnostic stage
diagnostic stage tuba dufite
Okay. so murabona ni nk'agakoroshe kariya kantu
nange ntabwo nzi ko
bashobora kumanikaho ikintu. So hookworm, they are called hookworm because they look like that. So either Necator americanus and Aslotoma duodenal, they look the same, they cause same disease.
American.
So it's not easy to differentiate them. That's why we normally say hookworm instead of saying Necator americanus or Aslotoma duodenal. So hookworm parasites, they are prevalent around 900 million people worldwide, and they can cause daily blood loss of 7 million liters. That's estimation. Astrostomiasis is the most prevalent hookworm infection, and second only to the Ascaris infection by paralytic worms. Meaning that apart from Ascaris rheumatoides, there is the second. The morphology is about 11 millimeter. Male are smaller as usual. Anterior end of Necator americanus is armed with pair of curved cutting blades, whereas the duodenal is equipped with one or more pairs of teeth. Hookworm egg are around 60 micrometers. Life cycle also is direct life cycle, but the infection of these parasites is like Strongyloides stericularis. It's about skin penetration. When you go to the field without wearing shoes, you can easily get infected. That's why our government, to protect the population from the many parasites that will be predominant in our country, they suggest to wear shoes every time and every moment. Even in the field, you can use boots, you can use special shoes in the farm, but you do not have to expose your feet because those parasites, they are in environment. So the eggs are eliminated in feces, then egg in feces will hatch and give lapitiform larva or lapitoid larva. The lapitiform larva will mature into filariform larva which is effective and will penetrate the skin. Then they will pass through different veins, go to the heart, go to the lung, will go to the pharynx, will be swallowed in the stomach, and will migrate through the intestine where they will mature. The other and life cycle continue like that. It's the same way like Strongyloides stericularis.
Yes, American.
So,
question
this is the morphology. Yes, please.
Does penetration of this parasite occur at any surface of skin? Or
if you put on, if you expose your hand in the soil,
okay,
or the contaminated water and so on, environment that contain that larva can penetrate the skin, any skin, either the hand, either the foot, any part of the body that is exposed.
Okay, thank you.
This is the morphology of this egg. Last time I gave an assignment of students to draw all diagnostic stage of parasites that we have studied. I think I will give it to you too. Drawing by using a hand. You just look at it and you draw it. You say you take a paper and you say the left side you write the name of the parasite, the other side, the right side you write you draw the diagnostic stage. Maybe you say this side you write Ascaris rhomboides. Here you draw the diagnostic stage of the parasite. You say hookworm, you draw the diagnostic stage of the parasite. You say Strongyloides stericolaris, you draw the form larva of Strongyloides stericolaris, and so on. And this, I think, will help you to remember the images, to memorize the images that probably we will see in the lab during our laboratory practice. After the lab practicals will start after 2 weeks, because very soon we are going to have the examination of the neuroelders. Then afterwards we will conduct some lab practicals in the coming 2 weeks. So I will give you that assignment of drawing the diagnostic stage of the parasite so that we can easily recognize them on microscope. This is the hookworm, the adult, but this magnification is very, very big because we can't see them at this side because they are small. Yeah, on microscope at least you can see them like this. So this size is like a very, very big magnification. But in normal circumstances they are at this side. This is the egg of hookworm. Yes, please.
Come back on that image of hookworms structure.
Which one?
In this image. Where is the hook?
The hook is not seen on this one. It's seen when it's like we magnify at this one. This one seems to have teeth. You see?
Teeth.
Happens to have teeth, but at this magnification you can't see them. They are very small. But when you magnify it very big, you can see them. And it uses them to attach to the mucosa when it wants to suck blood. And also they attach to the mucosa so that they are not eliminated with the movement of intestine. You know that the intestine do some peristaltic movement to move content within the intestine. So they use those hooks to attach to the mucosa so that they are not whipped away in the intestine. Can you see how it is? But this is a very big magnification.
Yes.
On normal magnification they look like this. Those are eggs. Symptoms are same as the previous one, but this one, because it can suck blood, you can even have anemia. Iron deficiency anemia and hypoproteinemia, edema and cardiac failure can be result into this infection due to blood, consumed blood. Diagnosis is made by identification of eggs in stool. The species of hookworm, either Necator or Americanus, cannot be distinguished on the microscopy. We treat them by mebendazole also as the previous one, and sanitation is the chief method of controlling. And also we have to avoid contact with infected fecal material or environment to make sure we don't get that kind of infection.
Can we have break, please?
At this time, I will look at.
Sorry, I will give you a break of 1 hour. Of an hour.
Man, yes,
I'm going to talk about this toxocaracanis. Toxocara, then I give you a break of like hour or 40 minutes. Is it okay?
Okay, thank you.
Toxacora.
We have talked about Ascaris. We have talked about Tiricinerosis pilaris. We have talked about
Tiricius,
Tricilis triciura. We have talked about Strongyloides terricolaris. We have talked about Antelopias vernicularis. We have talked about hookworms, Ancylostoma duodenaris, and Decatur americanus. Now let's talk about Toxocara canis and Toxocara cati. That cause what we call visceral migrants. So those are roundworms of dogs and cats. But they can infect human and cause damage of visceral organs. They are accidental parasites. Eggs from feces of infected animal can be swallowed by a man and they are in the other organ where they cause inflammatory necrosis. Symptoms can be due to the inflammatory reaction at the site of infection, and the most serious consequences of infection may be loss of sight of the worm localized in the eye. Treatment includes mebendazole to eliminate the worm. Avoidance of infected dog and cat is the best preventive measures. This is how Toxocara canis look like. This in fact seems to be like Tiricinerosis pilaris. We have seen Tiricinerosis pilaris in the tissue. This is Toxocara canis. Eggs are passing the dog feces, especially puppies. Puppies, they are the children, the child of dog. So the puppy's feces contain the parasite. Humans don't produce or excrete eggs, and therefore eggs are not the diagnostic finding in human toxocariasis. The eggs to left is fertilized but not yet embryonated, while eggs at the right, this one, contain well-developed larvae. The latter would be infective if ingested by humans. Frequently, a child who used to play with the puppies, with the small dogs, because those small dogs are the one which eliminate the eggs. Toxocara canis dog roundworm embryonated eggs. Now, how is the life cycle? Remember, last week I taught you about two different types of life cycle. Life cycle which is direct, which involve one host, and indirect life cycle that involve more than one host. So this is a typical example of indirect life cycle because we have more than one host. We have a dog, have a cat, have a human, and so on. So the egg will eliminate, dog will eliminate eggs in environment. The egg which are not embryonated will get embryonated. Once they are embryonated, they are infective. They contain this sign of I. Infective egg will be consumed by a child. Human being is a parathyrnic host. Remember the definition of parathyrnic host in the class of last week. So this parathyrnic host or human being will consume this egg or even the dog will consume this egg and the larva will be released in the intestine and the larva will circulate. Larva will migrate to various organs where they will develop, where their development will be arrested, will not continue, will be stopped. Then, in pregnant and lactating dogs, the larva can be reactivated and cause intestinal infection in the mother, infection of the offspring by transplacental and even transmammary transmission can happen. But for human, once
you are muted.
Again.
kandi ubona ariko
the intestine are that in the lumen and will lay egg and the life cycle will continue like this. So human being is incubator and Parathyrnic host. Toxocalacanis accomplishes its life cycle in a dog with human acquisition infection as an accidental host. Following ingestion by dog, infective egg yield larvae that penetrate the gut wall and migrate into various tissue, where the ancestive dog is older than 5 weeks. In younger, this is due to immunity. That's why it's very common in young, which don't have strong immunity. In younger dog, larvae migrate through the lung, bronchial tree, esophagus, other worm developing, and oviposit or lay egg in small intestine. In other older dogs, the assisted stage are reactivated during pregnancy and affected by transplacental or transmammary route to the puppies, in whose small intestine that won't become established. Therefore, infective eggs are excreted by lactating puppies, those small eggs that are breast milked. Humans become infected by ingestion of infective egg in contaminated soil. After ingestion, egg yield the larvae that penetrate intestinal wall and are carried by the circulatory system to a wide variety of tissue, including liver, heart, lung, brain, and muscle, and eyes. The larvae don't undergo any further development in this tissue. They can cause severe local reaction that are the basis of toxocariasis or a visceral migrants. Visceral migrants because they migrate to visceral organs. But also there is what we call cutaneous larva migrants that cause creeping eruption on the skin. So Toxocaracanis migrate to the visceral organs, but for the Ancylostoma brasiliensis, it migrates to the tissue, to the cutaneous tissue, where the organism is primarily a hookworm of dog, not for man, and cat, but the filariform larva in animal feces infect a man and cause skin eruptions. Since the larvae have a tendency to move around, the eruption migrate in the skin around the site of infection, and the symptom can last the duration of larva persistence, which range from 2 to 10 weeks. A heavier can pass without being noticed. Infection can be avoided by keeping away from water and soil contaminated with infected feces. Ancylostoma brasiliensis also have similar morphology of hookworm, and the mode of transmission is the same mode of hookworm infection, except that this is an environmental hookworm, not the hookworm of the human. So this is the life cycle. It's exactly similar to that one. So if there is a question, I can answer it. Then if no question, I give you a break of 40 minutes. Then we'll come and discuss about tissue nematodes. About intestinal nematodes, that's all. We have seen different parasites, including Ascaris remelicoides, that is transmitted by fecal route transmission, treated by mebendazole. We have seen also Trichinella spiralis, which is also a parasite that affects the tissue, that exists within the tissue, and it's an accidental parasite, Trichinella spiralis, which is caused by injection of antifungal. We have seen also Trichilis trishula, which is the whipworm. We have seen Antelopius vermicularis or pinworm. We have seen Strongyloides vermicularis. We have hookworms, Ampylostoma duodenalis and Necator americanus. And also we have seen this lava migrans, Toxocaracanis, and Ampylostoma brasiliensis, which cause tissue migrants. So mostly those are the parasites. Now later on we are going to see the tissue nematodes that involve blood and lymphatic tissues, not intestinal tract. Otherwise, ask the question and we have a break. Yes.
Is eating bruschetta good?
The problem is not eating, my friend. The problem is eating undercooked meat. When the meat is well cooked, I do not mind in my course. Maybe we will study this in other courses whereby eating meat can cause maybe the other problem like metabolic disease and so on. But in the parasitology, no matter no problem of eating meat. The problem is eating undercooked meat. It's like people saying, they asked me when I was teaching virology, they asked me, teacher, is it having sex good or bad? But the answer was simple. Unprotected sex can expose you to diseases. But the problem is not having sex. So guys, the problem is not eating brochette. The problem is eating undercooked. Either brochette, either cadenza, either house cooked, either roasted meat, or either
indi yari ijana na 32 indi yari 59 indi yari 56
Any other question?
zabyiga ryari ariko kubyiga usko biriya by'amatanga biriya by'amatanginology ahubwo ni nayo bikomeye
abantu bangaraterura rero nuko uzajya umuntu wambaye adusoma tugira ibibazo uso aratambira hariya konkoro dusa n'utwatora
Yes.
About those colors that you can especially when they penetrate into the skin. What can happen maybe when you take them in contaminated water or food.
Ugiye gusubiramo?
Ngiye kutwiga nabonekamo hano tumeze neza
You mean when we consume by oral?
Yeah.
It's not well documented what happened, but it seems that they pass through the wrong way. They cannot develop into the adult womb. Because we have seen that they have to pass through different veins in the body and we reach different body parts. So when they are passing through that path, they are undergoing some developmental stages. So probably if they are taken by oral route, they are destroyed by gastric juice. That can be possible. But when they are passing through the bloodstream, different body parts, it takes several days. They are undergoing some changes, some maturation that will help them to resist to gastric juice once they are swallowed through the oropharyngeal area. When they come from the lung, go to the throat and you swallow them. They are resistant to gastric juice. So that resistance may be acquired during that process. So because no documentation about this, probably if you swallow them, they can't develop too mature. So this possibility doesn't exist. If it exists, it could be known. What happens if a person, this is another question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you answered it. There are other questions in the chat log.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the but many people are joining and disturbing. I'm not accessing the chat box. Who can read the question and tell me?
Okay.
Even if a person takes mebendazole without any diagnosis, we give this mebendazole as a preventive treatment. You can even take it 3 or 6 months regularly to make sure you prevent infection. You may have, but when you take those preventive measures, they get destroyed. So it's a good habit. And even you know that in the community we used to give this to children under 15 years of age. We give mebendazole or albendazole to prevent those parasitic infections. Because we live in an endemic area, we suppose that in one way and another we meet those parasites in our daily life. So our body is not sterile of parasites 100%. Is it possible that we can eliminate parasitic disease permanently? Yes, of course. But if we keep having this poor sanitation, poor hygiene, it's difficult. But with time we will eliminate it. For instance, this hand washing habit in this pandemic of COVID-19, we have very few cases of parasitic infection in the clinic. They have substantially or tremendously reduced because of this habit of hand washing. So hygiene can contribute in elimination. So guys, take a break. We meet again at 10:40. Then we continue. Okay?
Isa.